press launch of Religious Freedom Report and Red Wednesday Campaign 2018. My name is Bing Salvador and I'm the PR Officer of Veritas 846 and I will be serving as your moderator for today. You will be hearing a presentation from Mr. John Pontifex and Mr. Jonathan B. Luciano on these topics, but before we get started, let me introduce to you the panel of speakers that we have. We have Assistant Professor Froilan Alipao. He's from UST Simbahayan. And of course, we have Mr. Jonathan Luciano, who is the ACN Philippines National Director. Now, for the opening, before we proceed, we have an opening prayer head by Ms. Mika Torres, an ACN staff.
Let's all stand for the prayer. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for letting us have this press conference. We pray that you will give our panels wisdom as they talk about Red Wednesday and the situation of the persecuted Christians around the world. May you continue to remember each of them in grace and mercy as we honor them as they stand in faith through this event. We ask this in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Mika. Now for the opening remarks, I give you the floor to Mr. Jonathan.
Thank you, Ms. Bing. Welcome, dear media friends, and thank you for coming. I'm doing this on behalf of our president, Archbishop Socrates Villegas, who is unable to join us in this press conference because of his schedule. But then, this press conference actually is to launch the Religious Freedom Report, which we do once every 2 years. And of course, the Red Wednesday campaign, which we're going to have on the 28th of November, that's next week. These two events, or these two major events, are organized by the Pontifical Charity Aid to the Church in Need. As many of you know, our Pontifical Foundation, this office, has been present in the Philippines for the past 2 years already, and we have been organizing these events, the Red Wednesday and the RFR, or the Religious Freedom Report, also for the past 2 years. And so I welcome you in this press conference. I hope that through this, you will be more enlightened and we will be more aware of the situation of the suffering church, particularly those who are suffering oppression and persecution today. So sana po ay magkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon para maliwanagan o tungkol dito sa mga events na gaganapin natin at sa kalagayan po ng ating mga kapatid na Kristiyanong inuusig. So thank you and welcome to this press conference.
So now moving on, we'll have the video presentation about the Southern Religious Freedom Report. Thank you. Now, we'll be having a phone patch for Mr. John Pontifex. He's the head of the press and information of ACN UK and editor-in-chief of the Religious Freedom of the World Report 2018.
So just a quick background. What you have here with you is the executive summary of the Religious Freedom Report, and that my colleague from the UK will discuss more about this report, and you're free to ask him questions later. Hello, John. Can you see us?
Yes, I can, Jonathan. Good morning.
Okay, so maybe John, you can now start telling us the story behind this Religious Freedom Report and the effects of this report to the world. Thank you.
The starting point for the report is the definition of religious freedom as given in Article 18 of the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, which identifies religious freedom as a right for the individual, both in private and in public, to express their faith without any degree of intimidation. We also have looked at a number of other documents. In practice, we have used key indicators of religious freedom, and these examples are the right to convert, for example, the right to catechize and educate your children in the faith of your choice, the right to practice your faith in a group, institution, and the right for religious assembly as well, obviously coming together in a church or a mosque or in a temple or whatever it might be, and obviously the right to build places of worship, and indeed not to be discriminated in the workplace because of your faith. So I thought that's a very important foundation point to be clear about the topic in question. You might then ask, well, why is a charity such as Aid to the Church in Need so focused on this? And it stems from the Second Vatican Council and Dignitatis Humanae from December 1965, at the end of the Council, which identified the need for the Church to stand up against coercion in issues of faith. So people should not be subjugated, in any way discriminated against, in the process of expressing their faith. And then if you turn to Aid to the Church in Need, well, as a charity, obviously, we focus on Christian persecution, but we can't do this effectively without having a very clear insight and awareness of the way in which other faiths suffer and Christians suffer within that wider context. And it's important to state here that as a charity, we go to the places, we, the staff and others, go to the places where persecution happens, and we are able to see for ourselves what persecution means. And just to give you an example of that, when I was in Syria in January, I met a man named Antoine, who was in fact himself kidnapped by Daesh, ISIS, and he explained what it meant in real terms to suffer a denial of religious freedom. And in fact, we begin our report with his account given to me in Syria, in Lebanon, of what happened when Daesh kidnapped and held him for so long. And he said they put a knot to my throat, a gun to my head, they called me kafir, unbeliever. They said they were going to kill me. I was placed in solitary confinement over the weeks that followed, and I lost half my body weight. Well, Antoine was lucky. He escaped. But for many, many others, they have not been so fortunate. And it is with those people in mind that we, as a charity, have committed ourselves to producing this report. So my next point is to say, what are the qualifications of this report? On what basis is it able to make the findings that it has in fact put forward? And so here's a quick rundown of the nature of the research that we undertook to complete this particular report. First thing is to say that it really is a very comprehensive study. It looks at 196 countries around the world. That's they were looking at some of the smallest countries right the way through to some of the largest ones. And there's a great concern there that we want to give an even-handed approach to all those particular groups, including Hindus, Muslims, Jews, and indeed more minority faith groups, Baha'is, Jehovah's Witnesses are mentioned, Ahmadiyya Muslim mentioned. From that, we have been able to draw the main findings, drawing on first-hand research, but also research from pre-published materials that are out of the public domain, but in the Western sphere and also in the Eastern sphere. So we then go to the findings. I think, Jonathan, you've already seen the video, haven't you? The video's been played.
Yes, we did.
But I thought that it would be sensible to conclude really by just highlighting some of these points, the main findings, to say why it is they've emerged. Now, the first and most important thing to say is that the number of countries that we found to be either countries of discrimination or countries of persecution. And these countries, significantly, we found that there was a deterioration over the 2 years under review, the deterioration in religious freedom conditions for almost half of the countries which are identified as worst offending. 18 of those 38 worst offending countries have seen a decline. And part of that, we've seen 2 countries that have entered discrimination and persecution realm for the first time. And most notably among those is Russia. So what we're very concerned about is the way in which we've seen what we call ultra-nationalism. Ultra-nationalism is a phrase that we've generated for this report, and it's to be defined in a very specific way. It's aggressive nationalism, hostile to religious minorities, and it's this sense that we have in be it India, in Russia, in China, in Turkey, in Burma, a very wide cross-section that essentially either social groups, non-state actors, or the government, or sometimes both, are seeking to bolster their power by making the point that one or more faith group is in fact anathema, an alien to the state, and by their nature of their religion, they are a problem to the nation state and its identity. And we're seeing how, in effect, minority faith groups are being scapegoated, and that it becomes more and more a problem. And if you look at China, look at India, and you look at Eritrea, and if you look at many other countries, not least Pakistan, you'll see this phenomenon of ultra-nationalism borne out, and much more prevalent than was the before. So that's one key point. The other is something that you in the Philippines, because of your experience in Marawi and in Mindanao generally, it's not so much of an issue for you, but for us in the West, it is an issue. And that is because we're, for the most part, one stage removed from the grim reality of persecution and discrimination, and what we call a curtain of indifference, a sort of veil of lack of concern, has descended behind which faith groups suffer, with the religiously illiterate West not paying any attention. And it's with that in mind the report actually identifies governments in the West, not least the UK, but also other countries, where the governments we feel have given pious words and statements of concern that in their lifetime they have not done enough to actually stand up for faith groups which have suffered. And just to give a particular case study of that is what we've seen in Iraq. Now, we had a situation where the Christian community there and the Yazidi community were displaced by the actions of Daesh. Then, the start of the lifetime of this report, November 2016, Daesh had been effectively pushed back, and there was a real opportunity for government to start preparing the way for these faith communities to go back. In the lifetime of the report, we see very, very few governments took up the initiative to restore to these faith communities their lost religious freedom, namely returning to the countries of their places of being. And only now are we seeing those governments beginning to show the level of concern and the level of engagement in terms of help that was needed. So what we're very, very concerned to do in this report is to thank those organisations and indeed their governments who've been flag wavers for religious freedom, but also to encourage other governments to take the subject seriously. For too long, religious freedom has been an orphan right, and we see in the report now, in actual fact, religious freedom has gone down the priority rankings of human rights. We see the rights of women, of children, disabled people, of people of different gender. All these different rights are upheld, and rightly their rights are celebrated. But unfortunately, we have to report that religious freedom, particularly for some faith groups, not Christians, is never given that same level of concern. And this actually demonstrates how that has materially made the problem worse because of the lack of media engagement. It means that these faith groups are being persecuted with impunity, and those particular persecutors really knowing that they can get away with it. So I'd like to end, if I may, by recalling the words of Cardinal Diodone Zanapanga, the Cardinal Archbishop at Bangui in Central African Republic. His foreword is a compelling read, and I really commend it to you. But in many ways, its crowning achievement as a piece of writing is at the start, because he makes the point that religious freedom is not so much a theory, and of course it's a theory. It's not just a system for an equal society that we're looking towards. It's actually, in many of these countries, a question of life or death. If you've not granted religious freedom in these countries, you will see yourself potentially killed. And to conclude, I'd like to end with his remarks. He says, here in the Central African Republic, religious freedom is not a concept, it is a question of survival. The idea is not whether one whether one is more or less comfortable with the ideological foundations underpinning religious freedom. Rather, the issue is how to avoid bloodbath. So, I hope that's a sufficient introduction, and I'm open to questions at this point.
Thank you very much, John. That was very clear indeed. And it is very striking that you mentioned about other rights and freedoms are very well protected and very well, kept. The world is kept aware of these rights, except for religious freedom, and that for me is very striking. Now I'm going to open this conference for questions. Mr. John Pontifex is ready to answer some questions. If you need to know more about the report that we just published, you can ask Mr. Pontifex. Any questions? Hello, John, are you still there?
I'm still here. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we just lost the video feed. Yeah. Questions? Oh, there, you're back. Yeah.
I tried. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us something about the launch that happened yesterday?
Yes, I was going to do just that, Jonathan. Was that at the forefront? I'm not sure what the situation has been in the Philippines, but in the UK there has been a huge media storm about the case of Asia Bibi. I don't know whether you've been following that in the Philippines so much. I'm sure you have to a great degree. But in the UK, it's been a media sensation. How it is that this woman from Pakistan was simply trying to take a drink of water, and as a Christian, this was seen to be not acceptable, and her Muslim colleagues accused her of basically defiling the water by handling it, and an altercation ensued, and the result of that was that she was accused of blasphemy. She was accused of defaming the Prophet Muhammad, which in Pakistan is a death penalty, and that happened to her. She was killed, or was threatened to be killed, and placed on death row, and for 8 years she fought for her freedom. And on 31st of October, the Supreme Court in Pakistan decided to acquit her. And in the weeks that follows, we've been trying to seek the full freedom of Asia Bibi. And a number of governments, including the UK, have been asked whether or not they're going to offer this Asia Bibi asylum. And yesterday, in our meeting, the Foreign Office Minister, Lord Tariq Ahmed, who in July was appointed UK Prime Minister Special Envoy for religious freedom, and he was asked why hasn't the UK government offered asylum, and he said they were looking into it. And then it also came out that the family of Asia Bibi, who we'd invited to the UK, that's the husband and the daughter of Asia Bibi, were invited to the UK. They sought meetings with the government, but the government just turned down any option of meeting the family. And that was then raised as well in the launch. So this all demonstrates the degree to which this difference is actually present, even at the highest levels of government. That they could actually find somebody in government to actually meet the family, even though the government knew full well the family were in the UK.
What happens now to Asia Bibi? Do you have any news about her?
Well, we have been in touch with the family on a very regular basis. So they have been indicating that they're very, very concerned for their own safety. And in the past, they had threats against them, and they've been talking about how they've had to move from house to house in order to avoid the mob, potential being hunted down by the mob. And they told me at one point how they've received reports of mullahs, extremists, coming into their neighbourhood and showing people photos on their phones of the family and saying to people, have you seen these people? And the family being terrified. We know that the security is a big issue for them, and we pray that government in Pakistan is providing sufficient security for them. And we also are very much hoping that the family will be allowed to leave the country. The Chief Justice, the one who actually acquitted Asia Bibi, was in the UK earlier this week, and he said that there's nothing to stop her leaving the country. And this put more renewed pressure on governments in the West to come good with the visas. So the situation remains very fraught, and we hope very much for a resolution of the case very soon.
Thank you very much, John. And once again, if the members of the press would like to ask some questions. So it only means that the media people has understood very well what you just said. And for us, we're going to distribute this report primarily to the bishops and to some local governments and also members of the press present here. So John, thank you very much, and please extend our congratulations to our UK office for a job well done in the launch yesterday, and for the Red Wednesday to come next week.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
And
Great to join you.
yeah, give my regards to Neville, please. Thank you very much.
Will do. Okay.
Goodbye, John.
All the best.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you for that. Now we'll also have another phone patch again, now by Bishop Edwin de la Peña, because he was also invited to the launching for the RFR. That was yesterday. Yeah, you.
Hello.
Hello, Bishop.
I'm ready.
Are you ready, Bishop? Did you have your
Yes,
breakfast
yes,
already?
yes.
Okay, pwede na po tayong magtagalog.
Ayan.
Pwede na po tayo.
Okay.
Kakatapos lang po namin kausapin si John Pontifex. Bishop, medyo minigrade po ako ng konti. Kaya ngayon po magtatagalog po tayo. So just to give a background, Bishop Edwin de la Peña was invited by our UK office to the UK to launch the Religious Freedom Report, formally launch the Religious Freedom Report. By the way, just a background, the RFR, the Religious Freedom in the World Report, is an initiative of our UK office. For every 2 years, we do the report, comprehensive report of 196 countries around the world, kung saan mayroong we observe the freedom for religious for worship. And sadly, for this report, it is said that 61% of the world's population, more than half of the world's population, cannot freely exercise their faith because of this problem with religious freedom. And this report actually demonstrates the urgency and the need for the world to focus not only for other rights, which are equally important, but also for religious freedom, the right to religious freedom. So Bishop Edwin will tell us more about what happened yesterday and why was he invited in the first place to go to the UK and represent our country, which is included in the report for this year. Bishop.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Bishop.
Yes, we had our day yesterday. Kahapon ng hapon, nasa Parliament kami sa House of Lords, courtesy of our sponsor, Lord Alton, Daniel Alton of saan nga dito siya? And he is also one of the senior members of the Board of Trustees of ACN UK. So it was a great honor for me to be able to address people, friends of ACN UK, to discuss about the report, no? The report 2018 about the situation of the church in the world today. Many of our churches, marami sa ating mga simbahan, mga sambayan ng Kristiyano ay inuusig, sinusupil yung kanilang mga karapatan na magpahayag ng kanilang relihiyon, kung ano man ang gusto nilang, paano sila nagsasamba. So they wanted to hear something concrete about what is happening in one corner of the world sa Mindanao, no? So I was the last speaker yesterday, and Lord Alton said, we saved the best for last, Bishop. So I was very honored, really, to have been invited. And so I shared to them about what happened last year, kung anong nangyari sa Marawi, starting on May 23, 2017, and hanggang sa matapos ito. So at the start, sabi ko, I am a certified IDP. I am a certified internally displaced person. I share status with so many people around the world who are refugees from their own lands and who cannot live normal lives in places where they should belong. And sabi ko, that is precisely because of what happened last year in Marawi. Nagkaroon ng siege, nagkaroon ng giyera. And it is something provoked, something that was started by people who nakatanggap ng paghubog ng ibang pamamaraan, pagkakaintindi kung ano ang Islam. And they understood Islam to be something very extremist in their views. No? Na para sa kanila, a city like Marawi, na Islamic city, dapat ay walang mga Christians. No? They would always ask, why are there Christians here? Why are there churches? Why is there a church in Marawi? No? When this is supposed to be an Islamic city. And then we realized that itong mga nag-aasik ng gulo, ilan lang naman sila eh. When they started implementing their plan to cleanse Marawi of corrupting influence like the presence of Christians, and then Muslims who do not live up to the true spirit of Islam, who do not live the true Islam as it should be. No? Ito yung mga tao na nililinis from the city. No? Kaya kung tutuusin natin, ang nangyari sa Marawi ay ang mga biktima talaga dito ay hindi lamang yung mga minority Christians, kasi ilan lang naman tayo, mga Christians sa Marawi, 3.5% of the total population. But the majority of the Muslims, moderate Muslims, suffered suffered more than us, no? Dahil sila rin ay they were also subjected to so much atrocities, no? So nangyari sa Marawi. At I shared to the audience na yung karanasan natin, mga Muslim at Christians, na pareho tayong, parang ang feeling natin, pareho tayong inapi, pareho tayong dumanas ng lagim, no? Brought us closer together, no? And then we realized na dapat pala tayo magtulungan, because if this is the kind of Islam that they want to implement, they want to impose on a city like Marawi, that is not the way we live Islam. That is not the kind of Islam that we were brought up with. Also, instead of maghasik sila ng lagim at paghiwalayin ang mga Christians at Muslims sa Marawi, what happened in fact, sabi ko sa mga tao, what happened in fact, there was the kind of explosion of this awareness that Muslims and Christians share a common humanity. No? They begin to sympathize with one another. Especially, as I shared to them also, the three crucial days, no, yung unang tatlong araw sa siege of Marawi, na marami sa ating mga Christians ang namatay. They were summarily executed diyan sa mga outposts leading out of the bridge, kasi nag-aalisa na yung mga tao sa Marawi. And then, yung makita ng mga Muslims na yung mga Christians ay pinapatay, sabi nila, ayaw namin mangyari yan dahil marami din kami mga Christian na mga kasambahay, marami sa aming mga workers ay mga Christians, and we will not allow them to go through that bridge over our dead bodies. So nagkaroon ng yung mga simpatiya ang ating mga kapatid na Muslim sa mga Christians na ginaganon na nila. So, sabi ko, this is the message that we want to bring to the world, that Muslims and Christians can work together to build a peace. No? And yung tinatawag natin na religious freedom, ay, hello?
Yes, Bishop, we're still here. We're still here.
Is there a question or intervention
Not yet,
while
Bishop.
I am speaking?
Not yet po, Bishop. Just go ahead po.
Okay. So, yung so, gano'n na ang nangyari, no? Na nagkaroon tayo ng ugnayan, tulungan, in fact, in how to respond to the challenge of yung relief and rehabilitation. Immediate need ng mga kapatid natin na mga likas, no? The IDPs. Yun ang ating tinugunan. Together, Muslims and Christians work hand in hand, no? We were able to establish, we were able to create Duyok Marawi, isang NGO na binuo natin. At ito ang magiging Social Action, Justice and Peace Ministry ng Presscon Marawi. Tinulungan tayo ng mga Redemptorist Missionaries, yung mga ibang mga NGOs, LGOs, at yung mga unang mga volunteers natin, 100 of them were Muslims. Ay ilan lang naman ng mga Christians, about 40 Christian volunteers, no? And they're still with us, no? Karamihan sa mga volunteers natin who worked with us from the start, since August 2017 hanggang ngayon. Patapos na yung ating third phase, nandito pa rin sila. They're still with us, no? So I shared to them about the reality na pareho naman kaming nangyari sa Marawi, ang mga Christians and Muslims were the victims. And this time, they knew exactly how to bring about solution to this problem of extremism and violent extremism at that, no? So, that is the message that we wanted to bring to the world, upang to dispel the doubt na yung mga Muslims ay talagang ganyan, no? So, sabi ko, this is the way we promote religious freedom. When we get to know one another, no, and we befriend one another, no, we will not make any kind of generalizations anymore about the other, no. Ganito, ganyan, itong klase mga tao, ganyan talaga sila. No, this is the way biases and prejudices work. It works on generalizations of people, categorizations of people. But this time, when we enter into real dialogue with the other, person of different culture or different religion, religion and culture doesn't matter anymore. What matters the most is that we are friends, no? And so we make exceptions to one another. Our differences do not matter as much as the very things that bind us together. So, ganyan, yung movement kasi kahapon na nilaunch natin is the movement to promote religious freedom all over the world. Kasi ang dami sa ating, maraming sulok ng mundo na ang Christian lalo na ay hindi pwedeng hayag ng kanilang yung kanilang religion, no? Hindi sila pwede mag-practice ng kanilang religion. Take for example naman lately sa ang nangyari sa Saudi Arabia na hindi sila pwede magmisa, no? Even as secretly, no? May mga nag-i-espiya sa kanila, no? Kung nagmimisa sila. And lately, again sa Brunei, no? Yung Dapudian, si Bukaya, he would not allow any kind of yung pagpapahayag ng pagdiriwang ng Pasko sa kaniyang kaharian, no? So there are many OFWs working in Brunei. We know it for a fact na kami rin mismo mga bishops, we experience how difficult it was to enter Brunei. Even if we were only in transit, and we had a stopover for the night, no? Nahirapan kami lumabas, no? Because binubusisi nila yung aming dala. Marami pa naman kami mga dalang mga icons of Our Lady. So, hindi makapasok, no? Negotiate for 3 long hours bago kami nakapasok, and then it was already late at night, gutom na gutom kami, and we were sorry for Cardinal Rosales kasama namin kasi, and he was the one who negotiated, no? And so after 3 long hours, we were allowed, but we were only asked to bring the things that we need for the night. Yung lahat ng mga gamit namin tinahiwa, no, sa departure area. So ganyan kahirap. So this was the one movement that we launched yesterday in the Parliament, the House of Lords, and we were honored to be part of it.
Okay, thank you so much, Bishop.
Okay.
And if there are questions from the press for the Bishop of Marawi, yes. Hindi po niya kayo marunong.
Ay.
Wala lang.
Hi, Bishop.
Hi.
Hi. Bishop Leslie Manolo Bulletin. Bishop, first time po ba na-include yung Philippines dun sa Religious Freedom Report, given yung nangyari sa Marawi last year?
I don't know about previous reports, no? What I know about is only the report for this year, 2018. Kasama si Father Chito. There was merong isang, that was the only particular event na isinama nila si Father Chito about Marawi, what happened in Marawi. Yun.
Actually, this is the first time
Na nakasama
that the
yung
Philippines.
First time.
This is the first time po that the Philippines became a case study. No? Although all countries, they report, 196 countries in the world, they report, but for the first time, the Philippines was part of the case study
Because of the Marawi
because of what
incident.
happened in Marawi. Kasi it's a very clear indication of suppression of religious freedom dito sa Pilipinas, because the Muslim extremists wanted Christians to be wiped out of Marawi.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. So yun nga po, this is the first time that the Philippines was included as a case study. Although lahat nga ng bansa, they research, and then yung mga bansa na merong very significant issues of religious intolerance, they put it as a case study. So for this year, for the 2018 report, the Philippines is included because of what happened nga with Marawi.
Do you think alarming po yun na na-include na yung Philippines?
Um,
Kung nangyari sa Marawi, pwede ulit maulit yung insidente yun, di ba po, sir?
Yes. Actually, for us, no, especially for us Filipinos, we do not really feel somehow yung religious persecution dito kasi we are the majority here. Christians are the majority. But by the way, the Religious Freedom Report is not only meant for Christians. This is for all religions, no, kung saan merong pagbabawal ng right to worship, no. So this does not only concern Christians, but for us here in the Philippines, as I mentioned earlier, hindi natin masyadong dama, except for some areas in the south like Marawi or in Holo or in Basilan, for instance. But majority, generally, we do not feel persecuted. But because of this, na nakasama tayo for this year's report, personally, for me, it's quite alarming because now nagkakaroon na ng pagiging obvious dito sa bansa natin na merong ganitong sitwasyon na even here in the Philippines. So, kung ito ay sa ibang bansa in the Middle East, this is, I don't want to use the word, this is quite normal, no, na pinipersecute talaga ang mga Kristiyano. But for us here in the Philippines, this is not normal. So this is something extraordinary. That's why, for me, it's quite alarming na sana nga hindi ito yung maging simula. Na the reason why we publish the report is for the world to become aware and do something, especially for governments. They have the power to do or to protect the rights for religious freedom, no, for humanity. Yes po, sir.
Good afternoon, Bishop. Si Melo po. Tatanong lang, Bishop. Doon po sa inyong pakikiisa sa paglulunsad kahapon, meron po ba kayo narinig na similar experiences from other countries na nakasama ninyo?
Yes, although parang second-hand information na lang yung senior nila kasi the speakers were mainly parliamentarians, no? The one was the trusted guy of Prime Minister Theresa May on relations with religions and groups to promote religious tolerance and religious freedom around the world. Isang Muslim siya, Ahmadi Muslim, mainly from Pakistan, and he brought out the issue of DD Asia, no? Na-absolve siya sa Supreme Court over the accusation of blasphemy, no? And they are helping. UK is helping in the protection of Asia BB from persecutions Pakistan. And so mga parliamentarians, MPs, and Lord ang nagsalita doon, and I was the only one asked to give something personal, a personal experience of persecution.
Thank you, Bishop. Yung po bang mga kuminsan unprintables from government officials questioning the legitimacy of religion, yun po ba pwede rin masabi na bordering on something laban sa freedom of religion?
Yeah, that could be part of it, no? That is disrespectful of people in religion, no? Religious people, no? I also brought that out, no? That the basic disposition dapat, when we are aware about giving respect for the religious differences, no? Is the respect that is accorded to each one of us, no? Kasi kanya-kanya naman tayong pamamaraan sa pagkilala ng sino ang Diyos para sa atin at paano natin siya sasambahin, no? That we should respect that. That is a human right, no? And it was seconded by Lord Otton na dapat part of the consciousness of the basic rights to religious freedom is that we respect one another. No?
Yeah. Or tolerance, so to speak, Bishop.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did not bring up the issue of what religious persecution in the Philippines in the context of church and state relations. No, it's not a good thing to discuss.
But had you been asked, would you have said something? Had you been asked, would you have said something? Had you been asked?
Yes.
Had you been asked? Had you said something? Kung tinanong kayo, may
Yeah,
sabi.
I can only say thank God I did not ask because I wouldn't express my view on that, no, in an international forum that would kind of put the Philippines in a bad light.
Thank you.
Ang hirap na.
Yes, there's one more question, Bishop.
Yes, thank you.
Hi Bishop, Nico Balbinina po, CBC News. Hi.
Yes.
Yun po, kanina nabanggit niyo po no, na yung rehabilitation sa Marawi is on its third phase. No? Was the Red Wednesday campaign last year felt there? If yes po, how was it effective dun sa mga nag-e-effort to rehabilitate the Marawi po? Particularly the Christian communities there po.
About the rehabilitation, we said something about the rehabilitation of Marawi, and I said that it's taking too slowly and too long. No? Sabi ko, it's been more than 1 year and 6 months now since the start of the siege. Wala pa rin nangyayari sa Marawi. It's still a ghost town, no? Ghost city. And this contributes to the feeling of uncertainty of the people and the impatience and ang hirap ba naman ang hirap tumira sa tent, no? Kaya this has created a kind of another tension kung kailan magsisimula yung normalization ng buhay ng mga tao.
Okay, thank you, Bishop. With regards to your question on Red Wednesday last year
Yes.
in Marawi, actually, Bishop de la Peña celebrated here in Manila. He was the homilist during the Red Wednesday Mass at the Manila Cathedral. So they have no Red Wednesday celebration in Marawi last year. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much po, Bishop. Any more questions?
Yes. Thank you. Salamat din sa inyo.
Yeah. Bishop, may question pa po? Not yet. We're not yet done, Bishop. There's still
Okay.
one more question. One more.
Yes.
Last question, Bishop.
Hello, Bishop. Rain po from Radio Veritas. Bishop, in relation pa rin po sa rehabilitation and Red Wednesday, kasi di ba, one of the highlights po ng Red Wednesday is to light the church or yung mga landmarks sa mga lugar. Pero, kamusta na po yung rehabilitation, Bishop, sa St. Mary's Cathedral naman?
Putol-putol. It's very choppy.
Yeah. Bishop, she
I
asked
can't
about
understand
the
no.
rehabilitation of St. Mary's Cathedral because Red Wednesday sa Red Wednesday po kasi we light churches and landmarks. So she's asking if any update on the rehabilitation of St. Mary's Cathedral in Marawi.
Renovation of St. Mary's Cathedral. It will take us very long to see the beginning of the work of rebuilding the cathedral. Dahil ang government, ang task force Bangon Marawi, meron silang timetable, no? So ang unang ginagawa nila ngayon is to clear the debris of the whole city from ground zero, the most affected area. Magkakaroon ng clearing of the debris. So ang dami-daming dapat alisin o lilinisin. And it will take them a long time considering the fact that marami pa rin mga embedded, marami pa rin nakabaon na mga unexploded bombs galing sa mga airstrikes. So, now they're very careful in trying to extricate all the bombs, no? And also, sinabihan kami actual work of rehabilitation and the residents coming in to rebuild their homes would only start in the first quarter of 2020. So napakatagal pa noon, no? So as far as Marawi Cathedral is concerned, we will not be the first to rebuild, no? We have to be very sensitive to the feelings of our Muslim brothers and sisters. Di sila dapat ang mauna. If there's going to be a start of the rebuilding of structures in Marawi, the first to begin the rebuilding should be the Muslims. We will not. We will just follow later. No, that is respecting the sensitivities of people who suffer the most. No, so first quarter of 2020, and they are constantly moving the timetable. No, the clearing operation of the city should have started June of 2018 nasa November na tayo ngayon, no? Last month na sila, 27th of October, groundbreaking para sa clearing of debris. Debris lang yan, ha? Ini-clear. So, napakatagal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Bishop. So we will now let you go, Bishop, so you can continue your rest. And greetings po to all our ACN friends
Thank
there.
you.
And ingat po kayo. I know you can survive the British weather. May sakit po kasi si Bishop before he went to the UK.
Okay.
And I hope you're doing okay now, Bishop. See you soon, Bishop. Thank you very much po.
Okay, we still have. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
All right.
Regards to
Bye-bye po.
all.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you.
So that
Survive sa internet connection.
was Bishop. Edwin de la Peña. We're fortunate na we were able to talk to two personalities based in UK via Skype. So that's the power of the internet. So what we'll have now is another video presentation for the Red Wednesday events worldwide. So to discuss further about our Red Wednesday campaign, I bring you back Mr. Jonathan Luciano, ACN Philippines National Rep.
Thank you, Ms. Vic. So the Red Wednesday campaign, this is the second year that we are going to do this in our country. And actually this campaign, once again, is a brainchild of our UK office. Now, since they initiated the Religious Freedom in the World report, they came up with this celebration to light churches in honor of the persecuted Christians around the world. So for this year, we will be doing it on November 28th. And as of yesterday, nandiyan po sa inyong press kit, there are at least 1,160 churches around the country who will join, which will join the celebration and will light their churches or put something red sa kanilang simbahan. No? Not all churches can light their facades, but for example, some bishops told us that they will just decorate their churches with something red. But for churches here in Manila, for example, Manila Cathedral and other shrines, they will light up their cathedrals. And for this year also, last year parang 4 na universities lang yung jumoin sa Red Wednesday. But for this year, there are more than 30, I think, or close to 40 different schools nationwide that will join the celebration of Red Wednesday. Mamaya i-discuss ni Professor Froilan yung school celebration, but for me, I'll focus on the church celebration. So on November 28, during the evening mass, there's going to be a liturgy prepared by Aid to the Church in Need, and we distributed this to the dioceses that confirmed their participation. They will also light up their facades, and together, simultaneously, we will pray the prayer for persecuted Christians. Because incidentally, November 28 is also the National Day of Prayer for Persecuted Christians, as instituted by the CBCP or endorsed by the CBCP. Kasi we requested in January this year that the CBCP if the CBCP could approve that in November we have the National Day of Prayer for Persecuted Christians, and they decided, the Permanent Council decided that November 28, coinciding with the Red Wednesday celebration, will be the National Day of Prayer for Persecuted Christians. So we prepared a prayer, and it was already distributed to the dioceses. Also, worldwide, this is being observed, no, and especially initiated by our offices. We have 24 national offices around the world, and most of them will participate in the Red Wednesday. For example, Italy already finished the other day their Red Wednesday campaign. They lighted up the Rialto Bridge in Venice, and even the river was turned into red. The canal, the Grand Canal. And yesterday, it was France. For France, it was quite different because they lighted not only Catholic buildings, but they lighted up a mosque, a synagogue, an Orthodox church, and of course, the Basilica of the Sacred Heart in Paris. In London, they will do this on the 28th. Now, most of our offices will do this on the 28th because we do not want to preempt the launching of the Religious Freedom Report. Normally po kasi, what we suggested to the CBCP is the Wednesday before Christ the King. Yun po dapat yung Red Wednesday ng Pilipinas. But for this year, because the RFR was launched yesterday, we cannot do it before the launching of the RFR. So we decided to do it after na lang. So that's Wednesday after Christ the King. But if this is going to be institutionalized here in the Philippines, we will suggest that we do it the Wednesday before Christ the King. So that would be the date of the Red Wednesday. Bakit po Wednesday? May mga nagtanong po sa akin yun, Red Wednesday. Actually, wala pong sagot doon. Sabi nila, bakit di na lang Friday? Mas significant, di ba? Red Friday. But the truth is, when the UK initiated this campaign, parang 3 years ago, because this is the 3rd year that we're going to do this, they initially wanted it to be on a Friday. But then, yung Friday na napili nila is budget day of the UK, meaning lahat ng news ay tungkol sa national budget. So, hindi nila pwedeng sabayan yun. So, they did it on a Wednesday before the budget day. So, naging Wednesday po, kaya naging Red Wednesday. And it became the tradition na to do it on a Wednesday. So, actually, that's the walang significance yung day ng Wednesday. So, and red because we wanted to honor the blood of the martyrs. No? As the report says, or even previous reports, Christianity is still the most persecuted religious group in the world. No? In 2016, one Christian is killed every 6 minutes. So that was that's the statistics of 2016, 2017. One Christian killed every 6 minutes because of the faith. So we honor them on this day. We come together as a country, as a Christian country, and we pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters. Now, for our, maybe I can introduce na si Professor Froilan, because we partnered initially, since last year, we have been partnering with the University of Santo Tomas with regards to the celebration of the Red Wednesday. So si Professor Froilan po will discuss to us what they are going to do in the University of Santo Tomas to celebrate Red Wednesday on the 28th.
Magandang hapon sa lahat. Salamat sa pag-anyaya muli sa UST bilang katuwang sa pag-alaala sa Red Wednesday para sa taong ito. Totoo yun, no? Sinabi ni Sir Jonathan na pangalawang taon namin itong nakikiisa sa Red Wednesday. Ito ay magiging bahagi na ng tradisyon ng University of Santo Tomas na maging malalim yung kanyang pakikiisa sa Red Wednesday taon-taon. Ngayong taong ito ay meron kaming mga inihandang gawain sa loob ng university at kami ay unang university rin na dahil darating yata yung dumating na yung mga exhibits natin na mga religious artifacts galing sa iba-ibang bansa. So ito ay sisimulan din sa mismong araw ng November 28 sa ganap na alas 10 ng umaga sa main UST main building lobby. So dito talaga nilalagay yung mga world class and mga renowned exhibit, no. So doon ito ilalagay in partnership with UST Museum. So doon natin ito i-launch. And then sa araw lahat ng yon ay sa November 28, maraming kaming activities na inilabas. In fact, naglabas ng memo ang aming university para po lahat ng estudyante, faculty members, mga empleyado ay maging bahagi ng pakikiisa na yon. So bukod sa exhibit, meron kaming forum sa hapon. 2 batches po yon. So 1 to 2:30 yung first batch and then yung 2:30 to 4 ang second batch at ang ating tagapagsalita doon ay walang iba si Father Chito na taga-prelature din ni Bishop. So pagkatapos ng 2 fora, magkakaroon din ng misa sa ganap na 5:15 ng hapon. So ito ay talagang inilaan para sa Red Wednesday, no. So and then after ng misa 6:15 lalabas lahat ng mga nakimisa, pupunta kami doon sa tinatawag naming Tomasian Martyrs Carillon. So sa harap ng simbahan ng UST yun, ito yung simbolo ng mga Tomasian Martyrs, no? Yung mga persecuted sa Spain at saka persecuted sa Vietnam. At ito rin yung simbolo ng lahat ng mga Dominican martyrs and saints. So doon magkakaroon ng red candle lighting. Hanggang sa yun ang pinakahuling gawain. Pero sa Lunes pa lang magsisimula na yung mga red lighting sa buong university kung saan yung mga heritage symbols namin like yung Arc of the Centuries, no, magiging pula din yun, iilawan siya ng pula. Ang UST main building yun ay magiging pula din. Ang UST Chapel at ang ganon din ang UST Martyr Carillon. In fact, maglalabas din kami ng yung mga posters, official posters ng ACN na binigay ng ACN Philippine Office ay dinistribute na rin namin sa buong university at maglalabas din kami ng university version ng ito po yun. Ito po yun. Ka-approve lang kanina nung version na ito. So may ilang pang babaguhin. Pero dahil yung poster na international ay katedral ng isang kilalang lugar, so ginamit namin yung main building kasi talagang yun ang simbolo ng UST, yung main building. So pula din siya. So nandiyan yung aming mga iba-ibang mga gawain. So we also adopted the international theme for this Red Wednesday year celebration. So, yun po.
Thank you, Professor Froilan. We are very proud once again and thankful to the Pontifical and Royal University of Santo Tomas for partnering with us for the second year. And natutuwa po akong marinig na this will become a tradition na sa ating premier Catholic university in the country.
Nalimutan ko na, pabaliktad eh. No? Siyempre, yung magandang banggitin namin, bukod sa University of Santo Tomas yung buong sponsor, pero ito ay sa pangunguna ng UST Vice Rector for Religious Affairs Office, kay Father Pablo T. Chong, OP, And then kasama rin ang mga opisinang under sa kanyang tanggapan, ang UST Simbahayan Community Development Office. Ito ang opisinang in charge sa community development, service, and advocacy. So lahat ng usapin ng human rights, social issues, and religious freedom na binabanggit kanina. Maganda yung realization ng religious freedom report, no? Na dapat tingnan kasing timbang ng ibang karapatan na malaking isinusulong ngayon like sa gender, children's rights, sa labor rights, ang religious rights, no? So, magandang simulan din ito bilang pagninilay sa aming university, sa opisina namin. Kasama rin namin ang UST Center for Campus Ministry sa gawain ito at yung isang student organization ng UST Sociological Society. Of course, yung ACN na kasama namin sa gawain ito. Salamat po.
Thank you, Professor. By the way, sa November 28 po, we invite you to cover the Red Wednesday Mass at the Manila Cathedral. The Mass presider is Father Chito Suganob, and it'll be attended by the clergy of the Archdiocese as well, and the representative of the Papal Nuncio. The Papal Nuncio is unable to come because of his prior commitments sa Diocese of Malolos, but he told us that he will send his representative to the Red Wednesday Mass at the Manila Cathedral. The exhibition of the religious artifacts na minention ni Professor Froilan kanina, the artifacts just arrived this morning. This is one of them. This is from Teleskuf, I think, from Iraq. The history of this religious artifacts, our project coordinator in the Middle East, our project head in the Middle East, Father, nakalimutan ko bigla pangalan niya, no? Mamaya maalala ko siya. He recovered some of the religious artifacts, no, sacred vessels, some vestments, from Baghdad o Karakosh, also from Aleppo and Teleskuf in Syria and Iraq. And they managed to salvage some of them, and he took them to ACN, no, sa ACN office, and it was first exhibited in Rome during our 75th anniversary sa last year. So nilabas po siya, and then it started its worldwide tour. At ang last po ay dito sa Pilipinas, no? So after this, it will be taken back to Rome for a permanent exhibition na doon. So kasama po nito ay, kung mapapansin po ninyo, meron dito, that's the image of Maria Auxiliadora from Marawi. If you recall, yung video na nilabas ng ISIS, ng Maute, when they destroyed the cathedral, this is the original image of Mary Help of Christians na tinanggalan po nila ng ulo and they pulverized the head. So this is a headless image. We were going to exhibit it. This was donated by Bishop de la Peña to ACN. So this is the original. Even the clothes, no, yung damit ng Mahal na Birhen, we did not change it. Even the stains, no. So and then dyan po siya, and it will form part of the exhibition. And this will be donated to the head office of Aid to the Church in Need International in Germany. So pagkatapos po ng exhibition na to, it will be sent together with the artifacts back to Rome first, to Rome. So yun po, November 28, 6:30 p.m. po ang misa dito sa Cathedral. We invite our media friends to cover it also. And the exhibition of the religious artifacts will be from November 28 until December 2 at the University of Santo Tomas main lobby. So we also invite our media friends to promote this exhibition na po. And finally na po ito, the fundraising raffle. Ayan. By the way, St. James the Great in Ayala, Alabang will also celebrate the Red Wednesday Mass, and Archbishop Socrates Villegas, our president, will be the one to preside the Holy Mass at St. James the Great. The reason being, we will launch our fundraising raffle for to help Aid to the Church in Need, support the persecuted church around the world. So this will be launched on the 28th until April. So this fundraising raffle, and we would like to raise a significant amount of donations so that we can be of help pa to the suffering church worldwide, no? So everything that will be raised from this fundraising raffle will be given to our headquarters in Germany to be distributed to our different projects around the world. No? Last year, we supported more than 8,000 projects from 147 countries worldwide. So hopefully, next year, makasama na po ang Pilipinas sa pagbibigay naman ng suporta sa mga projects na sinusuportahan ng Aid to the Church in Need para tulungan po ang ating mga simbahang naghihirap at ang mga inuusig nating mga kapatid sa pananampalataya. So, yun. Ito pong lahat ng itong mga nabanggit namin ay mga activities na tugon natin do sa launching ng Religious Freedom Report. So, we don't only want to create awareness, but also, more importantly, we wanted to see some action, no? Tungkol po dito sa awareness na nalaman natin na marami tayong mga kapatid na pinag-uusig at bilang mga kapatid nating Kristiyano, bilang mga kapatid nilang Kristiyano, we also have to do something for them and primary po dito ang ipagdasal sila. That's why we have the Red Wednesday campaign. We want to be in solidarity with them through prayer. Kasi for some, or if not for most of them, prayer is the only thing that is left for them. So we wanted to be in solidarity with them through our prayer, no? Constant prayer for their safety and for persecution to somehow stop, no, sa kanila, and to be for them to be able to really worship their God, our God, freely without threat. And information, you know, please share this information to everyone, and then action. Let's do something for them, no? Concrete help, concrete action na pwedeng makatulong sa kanila para maibsan po yung hirap na nararanasan nila. So, yun. And yeah, if you have questions pa po, then we can answer them now.